and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, thank goodness, just like another person to kind of like relate to. And it's like that reassurance a little bit, like, yes, I can, yes, that's another reminder that I can do this. And I'm just so thankful that you have, just accepted my request of you being on here with us tonight. I know a lot of the other girls are so excited and have been following you for a while as well. Just to kind of give you a little bit of a background, like this, I'm double diamond. I have another double diamond on my team. We're both pushing triple. We got a lot of girls on here that are pushing for diamond, especially because of the more bonuses and all the exciting stuff that was just announced. And we're just there. So there's a little bit of everybody on here. It isn't a certain rank or anything. It's just like, I told my whole team, we have Claire coming on, everybody get on. So, to give you guys like I'm going to talk for like just a second, and then I'm not going to waste any more time with me talking because we want to hear from you. But I'm just so excited, you guys, for you to hear from her because, like I said, she is a mom of four. She's a top income earner. She was just inducted into the Millionaires Club. You guys, like, I'm just so excited for you to be able to hear all of her tips. And we do have a couple of questions. I know I messaged you and was like, this is kind of what we're looking for, but in reality, like, we'll listen to whatever you have for us. So if you just want to start off by just telling us a little bit of your story, because I know there is some people on here that probably haven't heard your story. So however, much detail that you want to go into with that, we're ready to listen.
Well, thank you, Kenzie. Thank you so much for having me on here, guys. I super appreciate it. So I am Claire Flores. I've been part of It Works now for 4.5 years, and I got started because I am a mom of four, and I was a stay-at-home mom. I started having kids really, really young. So by the time I was 25, I had all four of my kids, and they were all ages 6 and under, and I was just kind of in a situation where money was really tight. My husband was working really long hours, and my kids were all young enough that I would have had to put all four in daycare or childcare or something in order for me to go get a job. But I wanted to contribute financially. So I started looking for things that I could do online. And I was following Alyssa Wilbur on Instagram, and I saw her posting about this business, and I questioned it, and I was so skeptical, and I didn't think that I would be a good fit for something like this. But at the end of the day, I was just desperate and I needed a change. And so I reached out to her and asked a couple of questions and thought, what do I have to lose? Like $100 was a really big deal to me at the time, but I was like, you know what? If I can take this chance and I can possibly make that back or make a little bit more, then I'll be happy. And so I didn't come into this like hoping to make $1 million. I came into this really just hoping to make a little bit extra. And as soon as I joined, she added me to her team page, and I just read story after story after story of people who were making 6 figures with this business. And I was like, oh my gosh, 6 figures. Like, I can't even wrap my head around that. Like, at the time, our annual income had been $30,000 for like 10 years. Like, that's just what we had always made. And so I was like, I can't even imagine like more than tripling that income. And I was like, you know what? But I'm going to do it. I'm at least going to retire my husband. And so I wrote out a goal that I wanted to retire my husband. And it's really important to write down all of your goals. We are like 85% more likely to achieve a goal that's written down. So make sure that you're writing down your goals and you're very consistent with that. But I wrote down the goal to retire my husband, and within 4 months, I matched his income with what I was making with It Works. And so I just looked at him and I was like, okay, it's now or never. Quit your job that you hate, come home, help me out with the kids, so that I can work the business full time, and let's see where this can go. And I have a great supportive husband that was like, all right, let's do it. And so he came home from his job, and 2 months after that, I went double and he went diamond. And we got our first 5-figure monthly check between the two of our businesses. And then 30 days after that, I went triple and he went double. And by the summer, we were making an average of $20,000 a month. And so remember, I told you we had made $30,000 a year for like 10 years. And so to suddenly make $20,000 in a month was just absolutely insane. And then a year later, I went presidential diamond and he went triple diamond. And then that summer, he was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And it just rocked our world. He was, oh my gosh, now I have to think about how old he was when he got diagnosed. Maybe 30, maybe 31 when he got diagnosed. And his cancer was really aggressive and it was moving really quickly. And his doctors told him, we have to get serious about this, and you have to take a really aggressive treatment route, which meant 5 hours a day, 5 days a week in treatment. And had he had a job, he would have had to quit his job in order to pursue treatment. And that's, you know, the sad reality for people that go through things like that. But because of this business, it was a no-brainer for us. He was able to just start treatment right away. And they were able to get all of the cancer in 6 months, and he's doing great. He's really healthy now, but this business truly saved our family during that time. And then a year after that, I went Ambassador Diamond. And then now, like Kenzie said, we just got inducted into the Millionaires Club at this last conference, which was just absolutely incredible and more than we ever could have asked or hoped for. And when I came into this business, I didn't ever see becoming an It Works millionaire. That wasn't on my radar. A couple $100 a month was what was on my radar, but we serve a God who does really big, amazing things. So that's my story so far.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Like I've listened to you like on other Zooms and stuff. And every time I hear that part of your story, it just gives me chills, because it's like the things that, you know, God prepares us for, or like places and sets us up prior to whatever, like is just absolutely incredible. And so what a blessing to be able to have already had this set up, and because that going through that could have looked so completely different had this not come in your life prior to. And so that's just really awesome it's really awesome to hear. And I'm so glad that he is doing well and a lot more healthier. So, okay. The first question, I guess, is that can you tell us a little bit about like what you do every single day, no matter what, just kind of like that standard question? I mean, obviously we don't have to spend too much time on that, because we all pretty much know, right, the important things that we need to do every single day. But I love for everybody to hear that again, because it's like, even though, yes, you're ambassador, yes, you've been inducted to the Millionaires Club, yes, you know, you're working on your 2.0 and all of that, like, it's like you're still doing the same important things, right?
Yes, I think that's the key. It's all the same things. It's not like you become ambassador and then suddenly you turn into this like career person that like does your business so differently. Like, it's still the same things. I'm still sitting on my couch, sending out messages and talking to people just like I did from day one. But my answer to this question, I get asked this question on like almost every Zoom that I go on. And my answer to this question, I think, kind of always surprises people a little bit. And it's just that I'm not a routine person, and I never have been. And I think it's really important to stay true to yourself in this business, because the more authentic you are and the more fun you have doing this business, the more successful you're going to be. And so really stay true to yourself and your strengths. Yes, discipline yourself. Yes, learn to be the best version of yourself, but also listen to yourself and know what you're good at. And for me, routine sucks the life out of me. I'm a free spirit. I'm a creative thinker. I'm very, whatever side of the brain is less rigid. I'm very laid back, and I like to go with the flow. I'm very adventurous. And so for me, if I were to sit down and say, I have to do these things every single day, I would run the other direction. It's just not my scenario where I thrive. And the beauty of owning our businesses is that we can work our business in a way that causes us to thrive. And so for me, that means leading with my heart. And that means that if you go to my page, you won't see something like, oh my gosh, every day at noon, Claire posts about the business, or every day at 10 p.m., Claire posts her story. You will not find that on my page. You'll find that I really emphasize quality over quantity, and I post from my heart. And my posts do get a lot of interaction because I'm not over posting. And I'm not posting tired posts that I'm just doing just to check a box. I post when I truly have something to say, and that's been very successful for me in my business. Granted, I make sure that there are several hard-hitting posts, effective posts a week, but I'm not checking a box every single day for that. What I do make sure I get done every single day is my self-development. That's a non-negotiable. I have to get my head and my heart in the right place. So I'm reading a book, I'm listening to a podcast, listening to a sermon, listening to an audible. You really have to watch what's going in, because what's going in determines what comes out. And so you really, really have to watch what you're intaking. And so I'm very consistent with making sure that I get my self-development, and then I'm doing that every single day. And I get hosts to post up every single day. That's a non-negotiable for me, because that's what grows my business. That's how I sign my customers, and customers are the bread and butter of our business. And so I do host posts for all of my customers. And so I'm really consistent with that. I stick with what I'm good at. I'm really great at selling the hair, skin, nails. So I do hair, skin, nails, host to post all day, every day. And they work really well for me. They're very successful for me. And then I also make sure every single day, of course, that I'm talking to my team and that I'm being a good leader and that I'm being a present leader. People don't join this business wanting a boss, so I don't micromanage anyone. I'm not checking in on anyone, but I'm checking in with everyone every single day. I'm making sure that, you know, hey, how are you guys doing? I'm present in my team page. And I'm just checking in with my hot leaders, my people that are really working and running, and I'm there, and everyone else knows that I'm always available. But making time for my leaders every single day is huge. And then just staying present with the people that are your potentials. And for me, I just build strong relationships, and that's how I build my business. And so if someone's a potential for me, their name gets written down, and then those are the people that I'm going to really interact with on social media. I'm going to comment on their pictures. I'm going to show them some love. It's not just going to be following up about the business. It's going to be being part of their life. And that creates brand loyalty. It creates loyalty to you as a leader. And so then when they join your team, you're already their friend. And so they're committed to, people don't leave friendship. They might leave a business. They might not be attracted to something that seems like just a business transaction, but when it's a friendship, it goes to a much deeper level. So I'm always working on my relationships every single day.
Sorry, I went to go talk and then I had to cough. So I love that. I love that you're really, really big on just being authentic. You know, you're not copy and pasting, and everything that you're putting out there, you're really putting you into it. It's not something that you're not posting to post. You're posting to really show who you are, what you're about. You're adding, and that's another thing, is that you are always adding value. Like, you're finding some way to add value to people through your posts. And because I'll go to your page just to like feel good, to get the feel good feelings, you know what I mean, to just like read your post and get that from it.
Oh, I think we might have lost you. Is she frozen for everybody else too? Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, it's not just me.
Having something that's true
here
to
we go.
Yeah. And
you were gone for like a good 2 minutes. 60 seconds.
No.
Maybe.
Are you serious?
Yeah. You're back now though. But we didn't catch anything for like the last, like, after you said you go to my page to feel the feel good feelings.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I don't remember what I said now, but basically, like, sometimes we feel like we have to post like somebody else or post like our leader or whatever. But I love that you said always stay true to yourself. And like, that was a really big thing that I just took away right there, was just at the end of the day, like, staying true to yourself, keeping the business fun. Because once it feels like, sometimes like when we get too task oriented, it kind of gets boring, and it kind of gets like, you kind of dread doing the things, and we don't want to do that. We want to keep this business fun, because it is. A lot of what we do is fun. And so if you're not feeling that way, then maybe like kind of like switch up what you're doing, and then you will feel so much more better about it. And then you actually are, I hate to say motivated, but you know what I mean? Like, more motivated to do the things. So, okay. What was the next thing? Oh, something that I do know that we were wanting to hear from you is, like, obviously, like, how you frequently like sign distributors and things like that, and how maybe someone can be really utilizing these codes, because probably everyone on here has codes to be used, and how you are creating that duplication process with your new distributors, and especially when it's in a time like this, right, when everybody's kind of signing everybody a lot quicker because of the season, but also, just all the amazing things that we have going on right now.
Yeah. So number one, with signing new distributors, just post about the business, and not in a business way. Just weave it into your life. Like today, I posted that my daughter stayed home sick from school, and I said, I love my business, that I get to work it from my phone, and that I could be here with my daughter today. So just really, really simple. It's a picture of my daughter. It's about my life. So keep things really, really personal. I don't cold message. It's another thing about me. It's not that I have anything against it. It's just not how I've ever built my business. And so posts are the number one way that I enroll distributors is just through my posting. And so I'm making sure that I'm always adding to my network so new people are always seeing it. That is a key that I think a lot of people miss, is if you're just posting to the same audience, you can't expect different results. Like you can't expect results from just posting to the same audience every single day. So I'm very aggressive about adding to my network. I add like 20 new Facebook friends every single day, and that's accepted friend requests, not just sent out. That's people that have actually accepted and actually added me as a friend. And then on Instagram, I try to gain followers every single day through Instagram as well, just through interaction. But I just make sure that I'm really posting about my business, and a key is that you're always inviting people to join your business. And that is something that I see missed all the time. I'll see distributors post that are beautiful and sharing their story, and there's a great picture, but there's no invitation. And that's when you're just bragging about your life. If you're not inviting them to join your story, then they don't know that they're allowed to. They don't know if they're invited to. You know, you have to kind of put yourself back in that situation of before you were in the business. And for me, I watched Alyssa for 15 months because I didn't really feel invited. And that wasn't anything. She's always been incredible at the business. That wasn't anything bad on her, but I didn't feel that invitation. And 15 months in, she put up a post that said, if you want to do this, text this word to this phone number. And it was like, oh, there's my invitation. And it felt safe. It felt a little anonymous, and it just felt really good. And so I try to always have some sort of call to action at the end of my post. Sometimes I'll have them text a word to me. That can mess with your algorithm a little bit, so be careful with that. But a lot of times it'll just be like, inbox me if you're a mama that's in the same boat or whatever, or comment if you're interested or something like that. So there's some form of invitation in my business posts, because I want to make sure that people feel that open door with me and they feel like I'm approachable. And so that's a huge key. And then just making sure that you're really sharing your excitement and your passion. And I'm a big fan of live videos, but I'm also a huge proponent of not doing too many of them, because I really, again, that's just kind of my mission statement, is quality over quantity. And so I will just have a lot of good posts on my feed, and then about once a month, I'll do like a really solid live video, and I will always sign distributors from that. Always, every single time. And that is just, I've been prepping my market, I've been preparing them, I've been building relationships, I've been posting about the business so it's on their mind. And then when I come out with a live video and they see how personal I truly am and how warm I truly am, then they feel that invitation to approach. And so that's like another form of, that's like a mass invitation, is a live video. And so that's key as well. But I think with signing distributors, the real thing is share your story. If you don't feel like you have much of a story yet, you're wrong. You have a story from day one in the business because you have a reason why you joined. And then you always have a goal that you can share with them, something that you're working towards. And people love, especially in our day and age of social media, where everything can tend to be negative, or it can tend to just be like time wasting. It can tend to just be silly memes and silly things that really don't add much value to anyone's life. To see someone who's saying, these are the goals I'm going after, that's inspiring. We don't see that enough. And so that really inspires people, and it really gets them excited. So anyway, so that is like one of the number one ways that I sign distributors. But for duplication and getting them started, I keep it really simple. And I think this is another area where we trip up, is we think we have to give them like all the resources in the book, but the reality is they have everything they need in the Connect app. All the training videos that they need are right there in the Connect app. They can get set up in there and get familiar with it right away. And so that's where I send them. And once they watch their Connect app videos, they come back to me, and then we have them write their first post. And their first post is always them sharing their story, why they chose to do this. Because when they share their heart and they get a little vulnerable with their audience is going to be a lot nicer and a lot more receptive to their new journey, because they're sharing their heart and they're sharing why they're doing this. And that's really important. And then after that, I get them doing host to post right away, because I'm such a big believer in it. And that gets them a lot of quick wins. It gets them into conversations where they can practice wording in a safe space. They're sending me screenshots of all of their conversations so that I am able to walk them through it and teach them wording. And then they kind of pick it up and just run with it.
Oh my gosh, I was writing notes so fast. Okay, so one thing you mentioned, okay, you do not cold message. When you do see someone that you're like, oh my gosh, like I think she would be amazing, do you still reach out to them and ask them if you just have that feeling about somebody? Or do you typically that's not something you ever even really need to do? I was just curious.
That's not really something I do. Basically, if I were to come across someone on social media that I'm not friends with, and I was to be like, oh my gosh, this person would be amazing, I will add them as a friend and I will start interacting on their stuff. Because as I interact on their stuff, I have the confidence that my page speaks for itself. And so as I'm interacting on their stuff, they're going to see my stuff. And from there, if they're interested, it will spark a conversation. And typically, then they typically comment on one of my giveaway posts, because basically all of my new friends do, because it's like interesting. Not everybody on Facebook is giving stuff away. And so I do giveaways for my host of posts. And so, so they'll comment on it. And then what will I do? I'll give them a distributor host of post, because chances are if I think they'd be good at their business, their friends will be too. And typically when I send over my distributor host of post, which I'll type it in the comments so you guys can have it. It's nothing special. It's nothing crazy, but, then when I say that I'm looking for someone that wants to make money from home, if they're at all interested, they're going to be like, wait, how do I do this too? And then we get into conversation. Or if I give them a host post and it blows up, I'll say, girl, all of your friends are interested. You should totally do this with me, or something like that. But no, I mean, typically I wouldn't just be forward and send the first message. I have in unique situations, but it's just typically not how I tend to run my business.
Okay. I was just curious. We never message anybody that we don't like, that we are already friends with anyways on Facebook and in some way, you know what I mean? But I was just curious if you ever send that. And then my other question was, I don't want to ask that now. Oh, I heard, so do you have like a kind of like a I forget what word you use, but basically kind of like a standard number that you recommend people as far as how many hosts of posts they should shoot for every day? Let me back up. I love the fact that you said that you try to get 20 accepted friend requests, like not just 20 sent out, like accepted. I think that is amazing. And then, so do you have some kind of a number like that guideline for the amount of hosts of posts that you're typically kind of telling people, like, this is what you should shoot for?
Yeah. So my goal is always 50 a week. And so that breaks down really easily into like 8 a day or 10 a day on the weekdays. But yeah, 50 a week is where I'm really comfortable. I like, but no less than 100 a month. Like if you're not doing 100 hosts of posts a month, I don't know what you're doing with your life.
Okay.
You've got to be doing at least that.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I love that. Thank you so much. Okay. And then one other question my team was really looking for is, do you have a certain follow-up system that you use to follow up with your potentials?
So again, how I kind of run my whole business is just really by my heart. And so I have my potentials written out, and that's really important. I think it's really, really important to have all their names written out where you can see them so they're in your mind. But then as I'm just kind of going through my week, I'll reach out to them. So I don't like wait for Friday. I don't like do it, on a certain weekly schedule or something like that. I really follow up with people when they're in my mind. And following up to me is not just sending them a message and saying, hey girl, were you ready to get started? Following up to me is interacting on their page, because when you stay in their mind, they're going to keep thinking about it. So if we've talked about the business and they've told me like, yeah, I'll get back to you when I talk to my husband or something, and then I go comment on their outfit photo and I say like, oh my gosh, girl, you look so cute. They're going to be like, oh, right. Oh yeah, I was supposed to talk to my husband about the business or whatever. So it keeps me present in their mind. So basically I just want to be something that keeps popping up for them. Someone that keeps popping up for them.
Yes, absolutely. And then how you were talking about you get a lot of distributors through your posts. So, you are probably also taking a lot of time to actually interact back with your friends too, right? Like you're not just like posting and then everybody's flocking to you. You're probably taking time to like make sure that you are like showing people love, right?
Yes, I'm very interactive. Like if I'm on Facebook, I'm commenting. Like here's the thing. I think a lot of us fall into this trap of just like we get on Facebook and scroll and we think we're working our business. You're doing nothing for your business when you're scrolling Facebook. Literally nothing. You're just wasting time, throwing it in the garbage. Take that time that you're spending scrolling on Facebook and every single post you see, react to it and leave at least a forward comment on everything you see. Otherwise, Otherwise, get off Facebook and go do something more productive. But like take that time and leave comments, because that's how you get interaction. And people ask me all the time, they're like, well, how do you get comments on your things? How are people liking your stuff? Like, I can't get anyone to like or comment on my stuff. When the world of social media, you get what you give. Like if you're not interacting, you have no business expecting interaction. But if you're highly interacting and it's thoughtful, you're going to get that back. And so if someone's posting and they have beautiful posts, they have no likes and comments, they're not interacting. That's all it comes down to. It's science. It's literally the algorithm. It's science.
I love that. I literally exclamation point and I underlined it. You get what you give. You get what you give. That's good. And okay, Mallory, I don't know what your question was, but if you want to put that in the chat for us and we can ask if we have time. And then, so there was a couple questions that I had left that are more like, okay, let's see what Mallory's question is. So my husband is not supportive at all. He's done research, looked at statistics, etc. I also have 4 children and work part-time, also trying to juggle everything. Plus, he's honestly tried to talk me out of this, tried to make me feel bad so I would give up. Oh, honey. So what would your advice be for juggling this and all the things in a manner that he'll eventually change his mind, time management, etc.?
Well, first of all, I'm really, really sorry that your husband's not supportive. Like that's really, really hard. I have been blessed that my husband's been supportive from day one, but I can't even imagine like trying to do this without his support. And that's really, really difficult. And I'm really sorry. But at the same time, I respect you for doing this and for putting in your heart and putting in your effort. But I had a girl that was with me a couple of years ago, and she built a Ruby and she made a good amount of money, paid off her student loans by consistently being paid Ruby for a couple of years. But her husband was not supportive at all. And she eventually quit the business because of her husband's lack of support. And it just like got too much. It just became an area of too much tension. Well, she came back and she joined me in June of this year, again, on my 2.0, and she's going diamond this month. And she came back just after really like lovingly talking to her husband about it and just, you know, sharing her heart about it. And this time around, what has really changed things for them, I know, is that she's been really open with him about their time with the business and her time with him as well. And it turned out that a lot of their issue was stemming from the fact that she was on her phone when he felt she should be with him. And that was what it was really stemming from. And so for them, it was a simple time management fix. Like her working the business when he's not home became such a good fix. But I'll tell you, when she got an Emerald paycheck last month and like 7 fast starts because she just enrolled a bunch of distributors, now her husband doesn't care when she works. And he's so excited for her to go diamond and double diamond. And like, he's over it now. Like he doesn't even care anymore. He's like the one that's like, get on your phone, work your business. Like now he's come around. So sometimes you just have to get to that place, whatever it is, whatever that threshold is for your husband, where you're going to be making enough money that he's not going to care anymore. You just have to get there. But getting there is going to take a lot of respect and love between the two of you, and sitting down and saying, listen, you don't have to believe in this business. You don't have to believe in it works if that's hard for you. But what you do have to do is believe in me. Do you believe in me? Do you believe in my dreams and my goals for our family? And do you believe in me doing something that brings me joy and that makes me happy? Because that's all I need. And then I want to give back and respect your wishes. And I won't be on the phone when you're home in the evenings, or whatever that is, whatever that time works out for you guys. Or, you know, I'll make sure that when you're home, I'm putting down my phone and making time for you. And God's only going to bless that too. So you don't have to be like, oh, my business isn't going to grow if I do that. God will provide the time for you for honoring your marriage. So I just, I'm sorry that you're in that position, but at the end of the day, like I'm proud of you for caring. Like, I feel like some people would just be like, well, you know, forget my husband, he doesn't care. Like, I'm proud of you for caring and for being like, I want to work on this. I want this to work for us. And I really think that it will.
That was so good. Whew, thank you, Claire. Oh my gosh. Okay. So hopefully that helped you some, Mallory. I appreciate you for stepping out there of your comfort zone and asking that question, because I'm sure other people relate, and I'm sure that some of us will get, oh, honey, I see she put crying emojis in the chat. Okay, so there was a couple little mixture. I don't know how you, in what order that you want to answer these, but something I would really love for you to share with us is, well, first, let me ask this like random question. So what would you tell somebody that is either, maybe they've been in the business for a while and they haven't promoted to either at all, or what to they wanted to promote to, so like diamond and above or whatever, and they haven't done it yet, and maybe they've been like putting the school out here for a while, or maybe it's someone that also is, been a little bit tiptoeing in and out of the business, or somebody that was rocking it, because like you can probably answer it pretty similar for all of these. So like and maybe stepped back, but they're like coming back and they're like, yes, I need this, I want to do this, but maybe all of those people kind of have like those same fears of like, okay, but how do I do this, or like what's my first step moving forward, or like does that make sense? I kind of had a weird way to word that, but does that make sense? Kind of how
it
I
makes
said.
total sense. I really think that there's a lie that we buy into, that it's just me. Like it is me. Like if my business isn't advancing, or I've been in for a while and it's not advancing, or maybe my rank has fallen back, or whatever that defeat level is for you, there's a lie that the enemy wants you to believe that that's you, and that that's your portion, and that's who you are, and it's just not going to change for you. And I think I want to say I did a different business before this. I did Usborne Books. If any of you guys have ever heard of Usborne Books, I did Usborne Books before this. I just thought, oh yeah, I have little kids. I have friends with little kids. I'll probably do great at it. I joined. It was quite a bit more than it works to join, but I joined out of faith that it was going to work for me, and I made negative money with it. I lost money in that business, and I was never successful. And it wasn't the business; it was me. It was me at the time. It wasn't the business. It was me. But what I want you to hear from that is that I'm not just a successful network marketer. I wasn't just born that way. I did another network marketing company and I was a total flop. And it was just that I needed to get the belief, I needed to get the faith, and I needed to make the decision that it was going to work for me. And I was able to do that in It Works. And anyone else is able to do that in It Works at any period of time in your business. I think we've all heard it several times, but Cami Pentecost didn't sign her first distributor until she was 8 months in the business. And Jocelyn Yates didn't sign a distributor until like 6 months in the business. And so Brittany Hayes, she's my personally enrolled ambassador. She didn't get her Ruby bonus. She missed it. But now she's top 25 in the company, and has this amazing story, and everybody knows her name now. But she had a slow start. And I think we hear these like fast starts and we hear these success stories, and you don't always hear the behind the scenes of what it took someone to get there. And the reality is that my journey with network marketing began a couple of years before I started It Works. And my learning to believe in myself, my learning to have faith, that all happened on the front end of it. So that by the time I joined, I was able to go Ruby in 25 days because I'd already made the decision. I already had the belief. I was ready to go. I retired my husband in 4 months, but I had done all that back work. And so for you, it's just a matter of when are you doing that work? And maybe you did it before and then you're able to have that fast start. Maybe you're doing it now. Maybe you haven't done it yet, but you just have to decide when you do that. And it really, truly is when you make that decision and you have the faith in God to make it happen. And so that's just up to you. It's entirely up to you. Like you literally hold the control over what your business does from here. We're in a beautiful season where our efforts can be tripled because right now we're in this amazing season coming out of conference. We have new products, we have bonuses, we have all of these codes to build our business quickly. We have so much in our favor right now. And so now you just have to make the decision. And I encourage anyone who feels like maybe they haven't made a decision yet, or maybe they don't have the faith or they don't have the belief, to just take a moment, get in a dark room, shut the lights off, shut the distractions out, leave your phone in the other room, leave your computer in the other room, just be completely alone and still before God and ask for more faith. Because that's what it comes down to. It's asking for the faith, but then make the decision and stick to the decision. Don't be someone that wavers. There's a verse that talks about not being like the waves of the sea, tossed back and forth with every little wind. Don't be like that. Once you've made your decision, you make your decision and you commit to it and you bring yourself back to it consistently. But take that time, be alone, take your space, pray and say, God, I need you to give me the faith for this. And I need you to show me what you want me to do. And then continue to surrender your business back to him. You absolutely have to do that, because when we try to hold on to it too tightly, that's when we start to self-sabotage. That's when we start to derail. But when we open our hands and we say, God, this is your business. I want to do this for your glory, and I want to do this to make life better for my family, and make your request known to him. There's a verse that says, boldly approach the throne of grace. He loves to hear your heart. Boldly approach him and tell him what you need. Tell him what's going on. Tell him, I have this debt that I need to pay off, and name it. Give it an amount. I have, these babies that I need to feed. I have this husband that I want to bring home. I have this, like, this is what I need from you. And just make your request known to him, and then submit it to him, and then watch him work. But know that it's him doing the work, and make sure that there's no pride involved. If we believe we can do it in our own strength, then we're not gonna do anything miraculous, because we're not capable of that. When we do it in God's strength, that's when true amazing things can happen, because he starts to work through us in his power, and it's so much greater than ours. And so you just have to make that decision. That's really what it comes down to. But then take the action to back up that belief.
Oh yeah, so good. Because we're always like, I know people say this all the time, but like, we're always like, but how though? Like, but how are we going to do it? And I love that you pointed out, it's like you might be at, boxed executive, and you're wanting diamond, and you're wanting it by next month, so that way you can get the more bonus. But you're like, I haven't signed a distributor in like 3 months. How am I supposed to fill a diamond chart in less than 2 months? Like, how am I supposed to do that? But exactly, when you surrender it to him, and then he will bring it there. You do the work, and he will bless the work, and all of that. And so it's hard to release that, like, that question. Sometimes it's hard for us to be like, to stop asking how. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to like stop asking how, so also, if you wouldn't mind touching on, I mean, you kind of did also a little bit, talking about the season where it can triple our efforts. And I love that you pointed that out, because it absolutely can. And basically, I want people to understand, and to kind of have that, a little bit of that vision painted for them of what we truly have our hands on right now. Like, not only with like, just It Works is an amazing company, and it is like, we are in like the right place at the right time, and like all of that. Like, what really shows us, like, I mean, we know what really shows us if we're paying attention, but like, you know what I mean? Like, kind of just, if you could just like paint that picture a little bit for us of like, why we need to like get our butts into gear like yesterday, and just run for these bonuses, run for whatever it is that our goals are. Why now is like the time to do it.
Yeah. The reality is that you just have to make your decision, and you just do. Like, you just have to make your decision. It's deadline time. Like, it's time to make that decision. It's not time to be waffling back and forth. It's time to make that decision, because what can happen in this season is truly remarkable. Things can happen really quickly. And if you're sitting there and you are that person like Kenzie talked about, where you're box executive and you want to be diamond next month, and you don't know how it's possible because maybe you've never even signed a distributor yourself. Maybe those two were placed under you, and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm going to do this. You can. You absolutely can. But whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. And so you have to make your decision that you're going to be capable of doing it. After conference in 2016, I went double diamond shortly after conference. And I sat there, and the bonuses were announced, and I knew that double diamond was within my grasp. I was ready for it. I was going to go anyway, type of thing. And so I went double diamond, was so excited. And I got up the next morning on the 1st of March, and I said to my husband, I'm going triple this month. And at this point, I was, fully double diamond, but I didn't have that third diamond that I needed for triple diamond, and had certainly never built a diamond in a short amount of time. And I looked at my husband, and I said, I'm going triple diamond in March. And he was like, no, I don't think you need to focus on that. I think You need to just get my account to double diamond and let's just focus there. Let's focus our energy there. You don't need to be building a whole brand new diamond. And I respectfully told him to sit down and not talk to me for 30 days because his lack of belief was not going to rub off on me. And I was going to go triple diamond. And I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I knew that it was going to happen. I had this level of faith, and I knew that my team had this momentum, and I knew that we could make it happen. And I built my dad, so not someone that was working, but I built my dad to diamond in 30 days. And I was brand new, you guys, at this point. I'd only been in the business for 6 months. I hadn't been in for a long time. But it was my belief and God that did that. And it didn't seem possible. It didn't seem plausible. Alyssa was going ambassador that month, and I was not who she had to be her triple diamond. I ended up being a triple diamond for her ambassador promotion. And I was not even on her radar to be that rank on her promotion because I wasn't close enough. But when you sit down and you make a decision and you have this vehicle and it works where the crazy is truly possible, then it's possible and it can happen. The amount of volume that I needed was insane. People would have laughed me out of town. My husband almost did. I mean, it was crazy. The amount of distributors that I needed was insane. It was just crazy. And I didn't even have discount codes to offer anybody. And I was still able to fill, and that back then a diamond chart was 24 people. Now it's 15. And I still was able to fill a 24-person diamond chart in 30 days. And it was possible. Not in my strength, but in God's strength. But it came from a decision, came from belief, and it came from surrendering it to the Lord and then just running with everything within me. There's something really important that happens inside of you when you change your language. And if you say, well, I mean, I hope that can be my story. I hope I can go diamond next month. I really, really hope that I can. I'm trying. I'm really trying. If anyone says that to me, I can tell you right now, you're not going to go. You won't promote. With that mentality and with that attitude, you won't promote. There's something scientifically that happens in our brain when we switch our language from I hope to I will or I expect. There is something that literally changes in our brain where we create a new pathway, a new way of thinking in our brain. When we say I will, then everything around us has no choice but to go with us. Everything around us has no choice but to do it because our brain says, if we allow our brain a way of escape, it will take it. Because our body is wired to, of course, as humans, look for the comfortable, most easy, quickest, most direct way to whatever we want. And so when we say, well, I hope this is going to happen, I hope this is going to happen, our brain takes the back door, which is, okay, I don't have to make this happen. When we say, I'm going to do this, then our brain's like, okay, we're going to do this, let's do it. And then everything's firing on all cylinders. So you have to make that strict decision, and it has to be final, and it has to be hard, and you have to stick to it. And you can't let yourself entertain thoughts of doubt. You can't let yourself entertain like, oh no, maybe I won't. You have to just be like, no, I am, and I'm going to do this. And then everything works with it. And then the last thing I'm going to say about that is you guys have maybe like 45 days now till the end of March. Like you can give up anything for that period of time. You can give up sleep, you can sleep less, you can give up TV, you can give up whatever it is. You can give up those things for a few days. You'll get it all back when you have the bonuses in the bank account. Like, it's okay. You can give it up for a little bit. It's not a big deal. You can sacrifice all of that for your goals, but you have to decide, are these important enough for me to make the decision to ask for more faith and to go after it? And once you've made that decision, you're unstoppable. And then write it everywhere. Write it everywhere. Like write it in lipstick on your mirror, write it on the walls, like write it everywhere and just be really strict with it and be loud about it. Share it with your spouse, share it with your friends, share it with social media if you want to, just get really loud about it. And then just do the work and just triple your efforts and you can do anything. You literally can do anything.
Oh, like a bunch of fire emojis. We're going to throw that out there. That was good. And it really is, though. It really is a decision. And sometimes it's scary to make the decision, but and it's crazy. Like once you do, like you start to other things start to follow, like your actions start to pick up your thoughts, and you do more, and then you get more results, and then you're more excited. So then you're still doing more. And it's just like, it all leads into each other. But like you said, like we have to start with the decision and say, and then close it up. Like, that is it. I've decided, and I'm going to push until the very last second. Because you guys, like, you know, goodness sakes, if you missed the bonus, where the heck would you be if you hadn't pushed as hard as you did? You know what I mean? Like, I said it on the team Zoom the other day, like Stephanie and Joel Dunn, I'm pretty sure, promoted every single time with 0 bonuses. Do you think they're mad? No, like, absolutely not. They're not mad that they didn't get a bonus. You know, they're number one income earner. So hello. But I absolutely loved every single part of that. Like, I just knew that you were going to bring, you know, some really, really good stuff tonight. And I really appreciate it. I don't know if anybody else has any last minute questions. If you do, you can throw them in the chat, and we do have a couple minutes left, but, I don't know. I mean, is there anything else that you know, would want to leave us with, or anything else? I don't know. Like, I'm kind of like mind blown right now. So I'm like, I don't have anything in particular.
I think just have the faith, make the decision. And, you know, the reality is that after you make a decision, you are going to have doubts, and you're going to start to doubt yourself. And the first rejection you get after, because you're going to make that decision, you're going to be on a high, you're going to be excited, and then you're going to get a rejection. Or you're going to follow up with someone that you were positive was going to sign, and they're not going to sign. And that can knock you off course, or it can make you just spring back and do more. And so just make sure that you do more, and don't work out of desperation. Work out of confidence and faith in what God's going to do. And so if you work out of a desperation, your potentials will know it. You can use all of, you know, anyone's perfect exact wording, and if you're doing it in a spirit of desperation, people will feel that. And so you have to get to that place where you have enough faith to do it out of confidence. And then if someone tells you no, it won't even matter, because you're so confident that the people that need to come into your business are going to come into your business, because you know that you've already made the decision that's going to happen. God has already blessed it. God's going to do it. And so then you're not worried about it anymore. And so you have to get yourself to that place. And that's going to take just discipline of your mind and not entertaining doubtful thoughts. And that's something that you really have to train yourself to do. So be diligent with that.
Yes, that was, thank you, Claire, so much. And Melissa, one of our girls on here, just commented in the chat, got me all tearing up. Her twins were just born the other day at 24 weeks, and now she's a mom of 4. I'm sure, as you see that in there. And it's just crazy. Like, we have, as I'm sure on everybody's team, we have so many people that have such really, really big whys, and they're just ready. They're ready to go. They're ready to make that decision if they haven't already. I'm sure after tonight they are. Yeah, probably got it all written down. And, you know, we really, really appreciate you hopping on here tonight. I know you didn't have to at all. We are nowhere near on your team. And so I want you to know that we truly, truly appreciate you taking the time out of your life, away from your babies, away from your business, to pour into us tonight. I pray that God blesses your business even more. And, you know, again, we just really, really appreciate you, you know, taking the time to pour into us tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for having me. I just feel led to just close us in prayer, if that's okay.
Yes,
okay?
Absolutely.
Okay. And I just wanted to say too, Melissa, all 4 of my babies were preemies, and we did the NICU and we did all of that stuff. So I'll be praying for you. I know that that's not easy, but I'll be praying for you. My heart's with you, because I know that road. We've walked it. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this beautiful team. Thank you so much for each of their hearts and their whys, and thank you that you brought them into this business, into a place where they have so much opportunity, and where the light of hope can be switched on for them in whatever their situation is. I pray over Mallory's marriage. I just pray in Jesus' name that you would just help them to have peace in their home, and help her husband to see how powerful this is for their family, and help him to just honor his wife's work ethic and honor her desire to do this for their family. And I pray that he would just have his heart soften toward this whole idea, and that something would just come in and cause him to see how much his support would mean to his sweet wife. And so I just pray for that in Jesus' name. I pray for Melissa's baby girls. I just pray for health in Jesus' name. I just pray that you would give them literally the best possible scenarios, where there could be worst case scenarios, that you could give them the best case scenarios in their situations. And I just pray for peace to surround Melissa and her husband and their family, and just knowing that you are holding those sweet baby girls, and that they came at the ordained time for them to come, and that this is part of the story that you're writing for them, and that you have everything in your perfect control. And I just pray over everyone else that's on this Zoom tonight. I just pray over their goals and their dreams and what they're pushing for. And in your name, Lord, I just ask that you would bless their efforts and that you would help them and give them the strength and the faith to make their decision, and then guard their hearts and their minds in Christ Jesus, that they would not be susceptible to the lies and the doubts coming from the enemy, but that they would just be able to remain focused, and that they would give you all the glory, Lord, that they would give you the glory, so that they would be people that would honor you with their success. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you guys for having me on.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it again. Have such a good night.
You too. Bye, guys.